Thank you for joining us. Each week, we feature a missing persons case from across the country, no matter their race, religion, background, or circumstances. Every missing person matters, and with your help, our goal is to shine a light on cases that are not getting much attention, dig for answers together, and offer support for the family and the friends of the missing. This week's featured case is one that captured the nation and the world's attention, a case so heinous and horrific. It is still hard to believe it actually happened. Nearly a dozen years have passed since three young missing women escaped from an Ohio home where they had been held captive. Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus were just teenagers. Michelle Knight was 20 years old when they were abducted and held prisoner in a home dubbed Cleveland's House of Horrors. With the home long demolished and their capture sentenced, the women began to heal. In this week's Missing series, we're taking a look at what has happened in the passing of years and the contributions these women are still making to make their communities better.
We're the only ones that have a bricks and mortar building in the country where families can actually come to it and sit and be with one another.
Two of the women working to save other missing children and adults, and the third started a charity. Their inspiring story of purpose and how they're doing now, straight ahead. Before we get to that, though, we have several other missing cases that we want to share with you. Sophia Franklin is still missing. She is 16 years old and the subject of an Amber Alert out of Wisconsin. Police believe she is with 40-year-old Gary Day. Sophia is pregnant, and authorities say Day is the father. The two are traveling in a black 2014 Buick LaCrosse. The license plate of the vehicle is changing. It could have Arkansas plate BBR201 or Pennsylvania plate KGW 5186. Day has a history of harming children, according to court records and reported by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. If you see either of them or their car, call 911 immediately. It has been more than a week since a teen in Murfreesboro, Tennessee was last seen. This is Jakaya Alsup. She is 17 years old, last seen leaving a basketball game on February 8th, a Saturday at Middle Tennessee State University. Jakaya is 5'2", 110 pounds. She was wearing glasses and at the time of her disappearance wearing a black track jacket, brown leggings, and gray shoes. She also has a silver necklace and a brown wristlet. There is a slight gap in her two front teeth. If you have any information that can help locate Jakaya, call 911 or the Murfreesboro, Tennessee Police Department. Ask for Detective Sergeant Trevor Cheney. This week, Netflix debuted American Murder, Gabby Petito. It's a 3-part docuseries on Gabby's story. Several new revelations in this series, including the fact that Gabby had shared that she was going to break up with her fiance, Brian Laundrie. Gabby's ex-boyfriend says that she was trying to come up with a plan to leave Brian. She also texted her mom that she thought that she would be more successful sharing her van life journey on her own. Gabby's parents say they destroyed the white van that the two were traveling in, and they also say they didn't want the van out there or having someone else own it. They did save some of Gabby's personal items from inside the van, including a gasoline cap and a sticker commemorating a stop at the Great Smoky Mountains. The family keeps them on display inside of their home. The series focuses on the Laundrie parents as well, and a letter from Brian's mom, Roberta, allegedly that she wrote to him claiming that she would help him. Depositions reveal the parents knew Gabby was gone. However, they have never been charged with a crime and through their attorney repeatedly deny any wrongdoing. Gabby's case captured the nation's attention and it created a frenzy around her disappearance. It's also the reason that we launched our Missing series. The reality we quickly discovered is there are many missing people and their cases and their stories fly under the radar. They don't get the same type of attention that Gabby got. And we believe Gabby's case mattered and every missing person's case matters. Since launching our series, we have covered more than 175 missing person cases, and we will continue to shine a light on cases that are not in the public sphere. Now to this week's featured case, the Cleveland House of Horrors, a case so heinous it is hard to believe it actually happened. But for the women taken and held captive, abused and tortured, the nightmare was very real. Somehow they survived and continue to prove their resilience and bravery. 2207 Seymour Avenue held its evil secret for more than a decade. Windows blocked, interior doors barricaded, until a spring day in 2013 and a daring escape.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
Amanda Berry, Gina De Jesus, and Michelle Knight, 14, 16, and 20 years old when they were abducted in Cleveland and held captive for years.
And I look and I see this girl and she just going nuts on the door.
The nation and the world horrified by the atrocities these young women endured. Amanda Berry becoming pregnant and giving birth in captivity. Her own mother passing away without knowing she made it out alive.
It's very happy because I got to come home that day. It's just very sad because I thought I would come home to my mom and I didn't get a chance to do that. So that's the things that hurt.
Seeing the house on Seymour Avenue demolished and witnessing their captor, Ariel Castro, sentenced to life in prison, just the beginning of the healing.
After 11 years, I am finally being heard, and it's liberating.
In the beginning, everybody used to come up to me and was like, and tell me, oh, we've been helping your mom, we've been looking for you, and they would want hugs and want pictures.
A dozen years later, each of the women focused on helping other families in similar anguish.
How are you again? My goodness.
Amanda Berry joining the reporting ranks at Cleveland's Fox 8 News with a missing series spotlighting cases just like hers.
I know life probably would have been a little bit easier if I would have just stayed to myself, but I feel like this is like what I'm supposed to do. Like what I went through was to help the rest of the families that are going through it now.
Gina and her cousin Sylvia launching a nonprofit, Cleveland Missing, operating not far from what was once dubbed Cleveland's House of Horrors.
I am a survivor and Seymour doesn't bother me, and I want other people to not give up on hope and be a survivor just like me.
We're the only ones that have a bricks and mortar building in the country where families can actually come to it and sit and be with one another.
The space hosts families who are searching, support groups, law enforcement, and media interviews in a way that's respectful to loved ones in pain.
We know what it feels like, right? Because of our missing loved one. But it takes time. You know, even if the person's been missing for 24 hours, if it's a kid or an adult, I always say life really is never the same. How could it be?
Sonny and Cody.
Michelle Knight, now known as Lily Rose Lee, is married and has built her own nonprofit, caring for injured animals.
God put me on this earth to connect humans and animals in a special way.
Always believe in hope.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children giving Amanda and Gina its Courage Award when they marked 10 years of freedom. All three women turning a horrific tragedy into selfless service.
I think that you can let it unravel you, and it's okay if it unravels you. You don't want to do anything. These three women just decided that they were going to deal with their trauma this way. But there have been many people who've been abducted, who've been, it's been a big story, and they go away into the quiet and lead a very quiet life. And I think that's okay too.
The U.S. Marshals gave both Amanda Berry and Gina De Jesus the Attorney General's Award for their outstanding contribution to public safety. It is believed they have had a major role in bringing countless numbers of missing back home and encouraging others to speak out as well. Joining us now is Sylvia Coulon. She is Gina De Jesus's cousin and the co-founder of the Cleveland Family Center for Missing Children. Also, John Bischoff, Vice President of the National Center for Exploited and Missing Children. To you both, thank you for being here and for being willing, Sylvia, to share Gina's story. Let's start with how she's doing. All these years later, I don't think that any of us can really comprehend what she went through and what this recovery has been like. Give us a sense of where she's at.
Gina's doing wonderful. I mean, Gina's doing Gina. She's living her life. She's in her mid-30s. And, Gina doesn't skip a beat. Gina's having a life, which is what we had all hoped for. And we kind of just stay out of her way and let her do her.
And part of that is this Cleveland Family Center for Missing Children. So tell me about that work, Sylvia.
Yeah, so when Gina came home, we talked a whole lot about what the family went through. She'd seen us on TV, as you'd, seen on many interviews, which kept her going. And so she had a lot of questions. And what she realized is that our family just, we're in the city of Cleveland. There were not a lot of resources. Social media wasn't a thing then. And Gina and I knew that we wanted to do something, as did our family. And we kind of settled on we really should be supporting families because there's so many great organizations that are actually looking for the missing. And our goal was to really support families so that families wouldn't have to endure what our family did when Gina was 14 years old and had gone missing. So that's the kind of work we do. We make sure that we're collaborating with the family as it relates to, for example, flyers. We make all their flyers for them with their approval. We connect them and really make sure that they're working very well with law enforcement, and kind of sometimes we're a conduit to that. And we just provide a lot of support, and support can be many things. We really take the cues from the family. Sometimes they want to be in contact with us all the time, and we're just walking them through kind of the process and, assuring them that what they're feeling is absolutely normal. And many times they want us to take our foot off the accelerator a little bit. And then, of course, we make sure that we're doing a lot of work with the community, and we do a lot of work with law enforcement as well, making sure that we're staying engaged with them and how do they work with families of the missing. So we're doing a lot of work in our little organization.
Yeah, and working with larger organizations like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. John, I think what surprised me the most when Gabby Petito went missing and we started covering missing cases was how many missing people, women, children of all races and backgrounds, go missing each year. And you guys have been working in this space for a very long time. The problem we found was there are countless cases that fly under the radar. Can you talk just to the issue of missing people and how big of a problem it is?
So absolutely. And we've been, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has been around since 1984. We've just passed our 40th anniversary of doing this type of work. And I can say over the years, one of the biggest challenges we have is community engagement, reminding the community that a child is missing a few blocks away, a couple of miles away, and keeping the focus on the missing person, on the missing child, because we know someone out there knows something. We know someone out there might have that tip, that lead, that might just push this case over the edge into a recovery. That's what we're looking for every single day that we do work.
And one of the questions I often get asked is, have you had families reunited? Have you found some of the missing people that you're looking for? I wish in every case that we did, we have some success stories and positive outcomes. And in others, we have closure for families who had no answers and now know at least what happened or where their loved one is. Talk about some of the success stories, John, and the reunification of families as these cases get shared.
So the successes, as an organization, we grip onto those tightly because they are so important to the work that we do, because we do know that, whether it be days, weeks, months, or unfortunately at times, as we're seeing here, years have gone by, a successful recovery, getting that child back home, back to where they belong, is possible. It gives the community hope. It keeps the searching families who are out there the power, the energy, the will to keep looking for their children, because as time goes on, as days turn into weeks and months and years, it can be extremely hard on the families to keep the efforts going. But knowing that there are these success stories, knowing that there are these recoveries, that gives everyone across the board hope. It gives my team power, it gives law enforcement drive, and it keeps the family the power to keep moving forward, as we all have to do.
Right, and giving the missing person and their family a voice. And Sylvia, I know that you all are working hard in that space. Talk about how you facilitate relationships between these families who are so desperately looking for answers and trying to follow clues, with also the challenge of working with law enforcement that have a lot on their plate.
Yeah, I think that our organization, we really have been lucky. The families that come to us, they're really very engaged. They're very anxious, but they also they really want to do the best that they can to make sure that that story of their missing person is staying out in the media, so that they really stay engaged. And we're a coach as well, because nobody wants to be in this situation, and there's not a handbook, oh, you should do this when someone goes missing, right? So folks come to us in a definite different kind of state, and it's our job to make sure that we're coaching them. And what does that look like? Every missing person is just one case, and every family is just one family. There's not a template for how people might come to you in distress. So we kind of honor that, and we start where the family is, and we work side by side with them. One of the things that we do when they come to us is we actually give them a notebook. And that's really important, because it's like their diary, and we encourage them. Who did you talk to? What time? What day? What were people saying? Write your questions down for law enforcement. Let's talk about what your engagement with law enforcement is going to look like. How often should you contact them? When do you expect that they should contact you? So those kinds of things are really, really important, because it gives them power and some control in an uncontrollable situation, right? And some of our cases, the person comes home or is found pretty quickly. But as John said, many times these cases go on for a really long time. We have a case right now. The person's been missing over 20 years, another 17 years, another 10 years. And even if they come home, sometimes they come home in the way that we and the family had hoped that they wouldn't come home. So we continue to stay engaged with families. If it goes to court, we'll stay engaged with them that way as well. But I think the big thing is yes, hope is really important, and it's a great motivator, and it certainly was for my family. But I always say the other thing is, even if somebody comes home, there is no really such thing as closure, because grief is an interesting thing. So you might get to grieve when they come home the time that you lost, and life will never be the same again. But then if they've been gone for a really long time, what are you grieving? You don't know if they're alive or not alive. So you're grieving that they're gone, but putting it into context, people are kind of, they're stuck. They're really, really stuck. And so I think that that's the other thing we do with some of our cases, is help people kind of acknowledge and feel that kind of stuckness, and move them through however it is that they're going to move. And, we make sure that they're getting therapy, that kind of thing, because I think that's really important as well. And we connect families with families. And that is really motivating and a real strength for other families.
Yeah, boy, you're right. Hope is a powerful thing. Final question to you, John, and that is, each case is different, as Sylvia points out, but whether it's a new case, there's an Amber Alert, there's an urgency to it, or it's a case that's 10, 15, 20 years old, what is your advice to families to continue to put pressure on law enforcement, on the media, on the public, to stay engaged, that there is reason to hope in each of these cases?
And you're absolutely right. Since the start of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in 1984, we've assisted law enforcement and families with just over 500,000 missing child cases across the United States, and not one of them is just like the other. Each one is different and unique in its own way, and it requires different attention, different approaches in finding the missing child. The recommendation to families is, for one, never give up hope, never stop fighting. A family is the number one advocate for their missing child. We serve as a resource. We serve as a go-between between the family and law enforcement if need be, and we provide law enforcement with vital resources, as well as the families with vital resources. But they are the number one advocate. They are the loudest voice out there that their child is still missing. And to be able to keep that up and keep that drive up, that's difficult over the years. And we're there to support them, as well as Cleveland Missing, as a local organization, amazing group to help locally. Utilize those resources. Pull on any resource that you possibly can, because we're all trying to keep that image of the missing child out in the community, because we all have that hope that child's going to come home safely.
Yep, and we each play a role. I'm so thankful to partner with you all, to work from you, and to learn from you each and every day. Sylvia Coulon with the Cleveland Family Center for Missing Children, and John Bischoff, Vice President of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It is a privilege to speak with both of you, and if ever we need proof of hope, it is in this case and the Cleveland House of Horrors that we need to hold on to. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
If you have a missing case you think we should look into, go to newsnationnow.com/missing. Many of the cases that we cover come from you. And again, a special thanks to John and Sylvia for joining us. Thank you as well at home for joining us each and every week as we focus on these missing cases. I'm Marni Hughes in Chicago. I'll see you back here next week for another missing case. I'm Marni Hughes, and this is Missing. Thank you for joining us. Each week, we cover a missing persons case that isn't getting much attention. Every missing person matters, no matter their race, background, or circumstances. And by highlighting these cases and sharing their stories, we believe that every case is solvable. Together, we can bring answers to the family and friends of the missing. This week's featured case takes us to Cleveland and an unsolved mystery 18 years in the making. This is Ashley Summers, 14 years old, when she vanished in 2007.
By the time they did the grapevine through all the relatives, it took a little while to realize that nobody knew where she was.
And as fast as the family says they could put up flyers, they say someone was taking them down. Coming up, Ashley's disappearance, possible sightings, and a relative now behind bars, but no Ashley. First, though, some other missing cases that we are following. Have you seen Eric Wadila, missing in the Chicago area, 22 years old, when he was last seen in the Seba Park area in South Elgin on July 28th? His car was found 3 days later in the park's parking lot. His family is desperately looking for him and asking for the public's help. Eric is from Plainfield, Illinois, in Will County. The sheriff's office in both Will County, along with police in South Elgin, are both investigating Eric's disappearance. Sadly, the body of a missing teen has been found in a retention pond in Florida. 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier is from North Carolina. He was vacationing with his mom when he went missing. His mom says he was looking forward to connecting with some relatives on his dad's side of the family during the trip. She says a group of cousins that he didn't know well picked him up at about 1:30 in the morning. Shortly after that, the mom received a text and some phone calls from him asking for help. Unfortunately, she did not see those messages until the following morning. Police say Giovanni's body was located along I-75 in Manatee County days later. An autopsy has been done, but because of the advanced stage of decomposition, no word on a cause of death. Giovanni is described as a protector and kind. Now to this week's missing case. This summer marks 18 long years for a Cleveland family whose daughter disappeared weeks after her 14th birthday. The search for Ashley Summers has had federal agents chasing down lookalikes, excavating neighborhoods, and seeing the conviction of a close relative for sex crimes against children. This while the family had nearly 48 hours of pure joy when they mistakenly believed Ashley was found alive. Her great-uncle arrested, her neighborhood canvassed, nearby backyards excavated, but still no sign of Ashley Summers.
There was a little bit of teenage rebellion starting.
Linda Summers recalls mid-2007 when her step-granddaughter moved in with a relative on Cleveland's west side to cool down tensions with her mother.
She had actually taken some money from out of her mom's drawer, which is actually the rent money. It was quite a bit of money. So her and her mom got in an argument.
A former runaway, Ashley rotated between two relatives' homes, which meant that after the 4th of July, it took several days for anyone to realize the teen was missing.
By the time they did the grapevine through all the relatives, it took a little while to realize that nobody knew where she was.
As fast as the family could put up flyers, someone was taking them down. Then a possible nighttime sighting.
And there was this girl walking towards us. We had had reports that she had cut her hair short and dyed it blonde. And I thought it was her. And by the time we kind of went back and forth. This is her, is it not her? I don't think it's her. Yes, I said, well, let's turn around and just see. By the time we got turned around and down, she had disappeared down an alley. So we kind of lost that girl.
And the case lost momentum. That's until federal agents tied Ashley's disappearance to that of some other local girls, Gina De Jesus and Amanda Berry.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years.
Spring of 2013, the young women escaped from their kidnapper from Cleveland's infamous House of Horrors.
And I look and I see this girl, and she just going nuts on the door.
For me, what stands out is that she had gone missing a few years after Gina had gone missing. Interviews with family.
Gina De Jesus' cousin co-founded Cleveland Missing, a support center to help families.
They had heard, the family, that Gina and Amanda had been found, but they also heard there was a third girl. And they really believed it was Ashley. And every time I think about it, it just chokes me up.
We thought it was Ashley that was in there. And then we found out it wasn't Ashley. And then you're just like, oh.
I think it's good to get her name out there nationally.
In a 2015 interview with Fox 8 Cleveland, Ashley's mother appreciative of FBI efforts to spread details about Ashley's tattoo. Renewed attention netting this picture, a woman with a strong resemblance to Ashley, wanted for questioning in an identity theft case in Rhode Island.
And if you look at Ashley Summers' age-progressed photo, and even her last photo that we have, there's a striking resemblance to this ATM photo.
It's Hope is the closest picture we've seen that resembles her. Is it her? I don't know. But it's the closest picture that we've seen, so it's worth looking into.
After it was proven not to be Ashley, the case took an even darker turn.
I do know that law enforcement's still looking at, he's not off the list of suspects.
He is Kevin Donathan, Ashley's great uncle, the one her family says she was staying with when she disappeared, who in 2020 pled guilty to rape of a child and other sexual crimes against minors, now serving a 35-year prison sentence.
The fact that it was minors that he molested, and I think everybody kind of knows where your mind takes you. Like, basically, what did he do to Ashley?
Painstaking ground searches conducted by the FBI and Cleveland police in 2021, turning up animal bones. Nothing else shared with the public. In a NewsNation exclusive from his prison cell in Ohio, Kevin Donathan, for the first time publicly denying any involvement in Ashley's disappearance, pointing fingers at a relative. It all leaves Ashley's family aching for the ending that came for 3 brave women and their loved ones.
We know what 9 long years is like, and they've gone through it even longer now. Ashley now is in her 30s. She went missing when she was 14 years old. That's a lot of years.
Anytime you see those stories where people are found years later, it gives you hope.
We reached out to the FBI about Ashley's case and the status of the investigation, and I want to share with you some of what they told us. They say although the proximity of Ashley's initial disappearance to Amanda Berry and Gina De Jesus was close, they still don't have any reason to believe Ashley's disappearance is related to the Castro cases. They also say this case is still active, that every tip and lead matters, and they remind the public that sharing information, even if it's been years or decades, can be a heavy burden. They say no detail is too small or insignificant, and that any tips that come in can remain anonymous. Joining us now is Linda Summers, Ashley's step-grandmother. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry for what your family has gone through all these years with no answers. I want to go back to the flyers. You guys, and you included, Linda, were initially putting up flyers when you noticed Ashley was gone. Somebody was taking them down. What did that tell you at that time, and did you ever find out more about who that was?
No, we don't know who was taking him down. At the time, we assumed it was Ashley or somebody who knew where she was, but we don't know at this time who was specifically doing that.
What kind of contact do you all have with law enforcement? The FBI says the case is active, but it's only getting renewed effort when it makes a headline or a tip comes in. Do you get much information or updates from authorities investigating this?
I don't personally, but I know her mother's the point of contact with them. So I'm not sure how often she hears from them, though.
18 years is a long time to not see Ashley. What do you want the public to know about her? Any identifying features, what you miss most?
Well, obviously, the biggest identifying feature is her tattoo. One thing I would like people to know is that she was 14 years old, and her family has really missed her over the years. She has a brother she's never met. She's now having nieces and nephews and other family that obviously is growing. She's missed milestones. So I asked the public to think about if it was your loved one sitting and you have that empty chair every holiday, every birthday, and you don't know where your loved one is. So we're just appealing to their hearts and asking people if they, especially people that knew her back then, if she said anything to you and you think you didn't really think much of it, please just report it anonymously if you're not comfortable giving your name. Because like they said, any tip can help us find something that may have what has happened to her.
Yeah, even a small piece of information. We did make contact, as we reported a moment ago, with Ashley's great uncle who is in prison, and he told us he had no involvement in her disappearance. Instead, he pointed the finger at other relatives. I want to stay away from any names, but have you heard his denial before, Linda? And what is your reaction to what he's now saying?
No, I've not heard him. Actually, I think you guys are the first people who've reached out to him, and that's the first I've heard of him denying anything.
What was going on in Ashley's life at the time, and why was she living with this relative?
Well, like I explained before, she had taken some money from her mom, and they had a fight, and they decided that, I think she started at another relative's house and then ended up at his house. And they just decided to give her some cool down time, let her, and to like take some time apart from each other to reestablish a relationship so they could become closer in the long run. And that's kind of what the hope of that situation was.
So he remains a person of interest, but in your mind, are there other family members or acquaintances?
Well, you know what, in my mind, I have a lot of different theories. He's one theory. There's other theories I have. It's at this point, it's really kind of hard to say. We're just looking for tips and clues that might lead us in one direction or another.
And have there been any recently in the last few years?
No, not recently.
If you could say anything to Ashley, if she left on her own and she's been gone all these years and happens to see this, what would you say to her, Linda?
Oh, I would tell Ashley to please contact your family. We miss you. We love you. Your mom really misses you. Nobody is going to be mad at you. If you think that's the issue, we're going to welcome you with open arms. And if you're not sure who to contact, the Cleveland Center for the Missing is a good point of contact, or even any of law enforcement.
I know you all got your hopes up. We talked about the Cleveland House of Horrors. How troubling was that for you all to see other girls come home but still miss Ashley?
I mean, it was a bag of mixed emotions. We were sad it wasn't Ashley, obviously, disappointed. But we were also glad that the other families were able to be reunited with their loved ones.
Well, I hope for your sake and for everyone who loves and misses Ashley that this message gets to her or to someone who knows something about what happened so we can bring you all some answers and some closure. Linda Summers, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for highlighting her story. We appreciate any news we can get for her.
Absolutely. That is what we are here for. If you have information that can help investigators find the answers in the disappearance of Ashley Summers, you can contact Cleveland Police. And if you have a missing case you think we should investigate, visit our missing page on NewsNationNow.com. Many of the cases we cover come from you. You can also sign up for our weekly missing newsletter for the latest missing cases that we are actively investigating. I'm Marni Hughes in Chicago. As always, thank you for joining us this week for Missing. I'll see you back here for another missing case next week.